And welcome back to CDN Precision. Today we're going to be reviewing a fantastic rifle, the Tikka Tac A1. So Tikka has been one of my favorite actions for a very long time. It's one rifle that I've never had a bad sample of, and all these rifles were purchased by myself thanks to the great supporters of cdnprecision.com. So let's get started. The Tikka Tac A1 retails in Canada for around $3,000. In the US it's around $2,200. And it's a great long-range precision rifle, and for those of you who don't know, this actually wasn't really intended for civilian use. This was actually more for military and law enforcement. But then it just got popular, so they just decided, well, let's open it to civilians, and it kind of sold like wildfire. There is a more modern variant for modern long-range precision shooting that actually comes in another chassis, but that's for a different video. It's the Tikka Ace target, by the way. And it's also a little bit cheaper. So the Tikka Tac A1 comes chambered in .223. Well, it's very hard to find the .223 versions. .308 Winchester, .260 Remington, and 6.5 Creedmoor. There are no magnums that you are going to find in the Tikka Tac A1, which is kind of surprising because the Tikka T3X action itself is a long action, but they just never opened up this mag well in order to allow you to put something nice like a 300 PRC or a 6.5 PRC or something really spicy. So let's get started with the barrel. It's a 24-inch medium contour cold hammer forged barrel, which is kind of surprising. Normally in precision rifles, we see heavier profile barrels than this one, which I would have preferred. But then again, it didn't take anything whatsoever away from the incredible accuracy that we saw with this rifle. So it's a 1 1/8-inch twist, and it's threaded for 5/8 by 24. The most important part of any rifle review is going to come down to accuracy. And most of the time it's important we mention that I have a sample of one, so this has some significance, but not a whole lot. But I've reviewed so many Tikka T3Xs that really this is a very good sample for comparison's sake. So let's get started with the accuracy. The average we saw with all the groups that we did, I think it tested 9 or 10 different types of match ammunition. The average 3-shot group size was 0.97. So just to start with, that is bloody incredible. Let's start with the worst and work our way to the best. The Barnes 120 grain TTSX BT VOR-TX 2.61, which is our worst, which is really not very good. And our Federal Hornady Varmint Predator 95 grain 1.50. Actually, I've never had any good groups with the 95 grain Predator. Really, it's not ideal for a 1 1/8-inch twist. Next, this is where it gets good. The Barnes VOR-TX LR 127 grain LRX BT 0.97 inches. Next, the Hornady Match 147 grain 0.92. The Nosler Match Grain 140 grain hollow point boat tail 0.89. The Barnes Precision Match 140 grain OTM BT 0.75. I mean, we are on fire. The Federal Premium Gold Medal Burger 130 grain 0.68 inches. Federal Premium Gold Medal Sierra Match King 140 grain 0.68. Hornady Match 120 grain 0.39, and this isn't even the best. I mean, does it get better? Hell yeah, but not by a lot. 0.38 inches was for the Federal Premium 135 grain Burger Hybrid Hunter. Now, normally in my more recent reviews, I do more than 3-shot groups, and normally the way I do things is I do 3 shots, and if it's under an inch, I do a 4th shot, and if it's under an inch, I do 5 shots, and I just keep going until it pushes itself out of an inch, which in my opinion is a very good way to demonstrate how accurate a rifle is. But what we see here is extreme consistency with just about every type of ammunition that we could find. And our overall average really showed that this rifle performs. And that stands true to its reputation with Tikkas. All Tikkas, well, I'd say probably almost all Tikkas are extremely accurate. And they achieved this by doing a cold hammer forged chromoly barrel, which from all the rifles that I have reviewed, cold hammer forged barrels tend to be extremely accurate. So next, let's talk about the Tikka T3X action. So this is what you're going to see in the Tikka T3X varmints. And I should mention that maybe you don't want this configuration, but you sure as hell want this accuracy. You want this action. Once I'm done kind of telling you about it, you're going to want it too. But you can just buy a Tikka T3X varmint and throw that barreled action in the chassis that you want. There's so many great variants from MDT, and also I'm a dealer for MDT, so if you want something, reach out to me at cdnprecision.com and we will set you up. So the Tikka T3X action is a 2-lug 70-degree throw, and it is the smoothest action, in my opinion, short of going with a custom action. I mean, look at this. Would you look at this? This is buttery, buttery, buttery smooth. You will not be disappointed whatsoever. And this action has never failed me in terms of feeding, extraction, or ejection. They just work so damn reliably. Also on the top of this action, you are going to see a 0 MOA rail, which is, in my opinion, it does take a little bit away, just because if you have a scope with 30 mils of internal adjustment, well, a 0 MOA is going to cut that in half. You're only going to have 15 mils of internal adjustment to use to adjust for elevation. And then you're going to have to use the holdovers in your reticle. Well, I mean, if we use something like this, like we were using the Discovery EDPRS 525 by 56, it has 36. So it would give us 18 mils of total internal adjustment, which is still, you know, I'd say a lot. It's still a good amount. But if you want to do extreme long range and you wanted to use more like 25 mils, well, it's not going to do. You might have to change the rail, but then the issue comes up that this front rail is kind of in the way, which is kind of why I brought up earlier that maybe this specific rifle isn't the option for you. You might want something like a Tikka Ace Target. This one has 20 MOAs worth of internal adjustment, and it's actually a little bit better designed for the standard long range or PRS shooter. But there's a separate video on that completely. But anyway, we were using the Discovery EDPRS. It's got 36 mils of internal adjustment, 10 mils per revolution, a zero-stop ED glass with a Christmas tree-style illuminated reticle, lifetime warranty fulfilled by yours truly here at CDN Precision. Anyway, you can pick one up at our website, cdnprecision.com. We also have the Athlon Rangecraft, which is really, really affordable. It's a great chronograph. I've tried almost every other chronograph on the market. And I mean, the Garmin one is fantastic, but it's like almost twice the price in Canada. There we go. Well, it achieves, for most users, it's going to give us the exact same results. I think it's like within 1 or 2 feet per second different from one another. Anyway, next let's talk about the trigger. So it's a single stage 2 to 4 pound trigger, or depends on who places the order with Tikka, because you can get them you can even get set triggers if you want. I'm not sure they'll do a set trigger for the Tac A1, but it depends on who places that massive bulk order and specifies what they want for a trigger. So it can come either a 2-stage or a single-stage trigger. This one is a 2-stage trigger, as you can see here, and I'm just going to zoom in for you guys, and I'll show you that break. Ooh, it breaks like glass. You guys are going to love that. Just short of getting a aftermarket trigger like a Trigger Tech, this is as good as it gets for factory. Next, let's look at the stock. So starting with the back, working our way to the front, we have adjustability in terms of spacers for comb height, up and down. We have adjustability for the comb height here with just 2 screws, which is going to be really nice. You can either actually tilt it forward if you want, or back, and up and down, obviously. And this is actually, surprisingly, a really cheap way to achieve that. And it does a really good job. It does use an AR-15 type buffer tube with a castle nut, which, I mean, it hasn't moved whatsoever, so I can't really complain. It is a folding stock, which is one of the main reasons why you might actually consider this rifle, because it's a little bit more compact, which I think is why it was for military use, military or police kind of use, is for that specific option. We do have a decent grip. My preference is more along the lines of a MDT style grip. There's no thumb shelf like we're going to see on the Tikka Ace Target, which is kind of what I like. We have a very well placed mag release, actuated by your index, very, very well designed. The front here, we have no barricade stop, which is, I mean, not something that was all that common at the time this rifle came out. We have an AR-15 style handguard with M-locks all over the place and Picatinny on the top, which is going to be great if you have a night vision bridge or something like a Charlie K-Rack and kind of go on the front of that and give you more internal adjustment. So this is a very well designed rifle for a specific purpose. If it's the right purpose for you, maybe not. You're going to know if you need this. Most of the time, this is maybe not going to be the best one for you. If you have the option between this and the Tikka Ace Target, I would recommend going with the Ace Target. Unless you need the features that we kind of just went over in this rifle, well then you obviously know that this one's going to be right for you. But for most users, Tikka Ace Target is the way to go. So if you guys enjoyed this video, consider hitting like, consider hitting subscribe, and checking out our website at cdnprecision.com. Thanks for watching CDN Precision.